Yo, what's good? Mic check 1 2. Make sure this mic on here working right. It'll be wilding sometime, and I don't want to struggle stream off the rip. What's going on? I'm Marcus. You're at the channel of the Debt Free Dad, where we're talking finances and attorney reactions. This video is going to be interesting because it's a little bit of a hybrid. It's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of a reaction. There's a little bit of finances, and of course, I got my own personal story with Hood HOAs. Why I'm adamantly, vehemently against homeowners association. I'd never buy another property where there is a homeowners association. Always got to toss out the disclaimer. I'm a licensed attorney, but this is legal or financial advice. This is just my opinion and take infotainment purposes. Seek a professional if you need a professional, because I'm not your professional. So now that I got that out of the way, let's talk about HOAs. Now, if you're new to the channel, uh yeah, I probably may not be aware of my position on HOAs, but a year and a half, 2 years ago, whenever it was, I did a series on YouTube called Selling in the Seller's Market. I was selling a rental property that I had. I purchased it in 2006, 2007. Here we go, 2021, 14 years later. The thing was almost paid for. Yeah, it was damn near paid for almost. We ain't have much left we owed on it, but I had to get up out of there because the homeowners association was annoying as hell. Is a okay, I had to look at the time. It's after 10 o'clock, so I can curse freely. We got age restriction on the cursing over here. But the HOA was cool when I was living in the property as my residential property because I sat on the committee. So I mean, if you're there, you're living in a place, you're gonna make an effort to make sure stuff is ran efficiently and effectively. So everything was fine. I want to say the homeowners association fee, it was something light too, considering I don't know, maybe it was $100 a month or $75 a month. It was something like $100 a month for a townhome community. Now, when did the problem arise? Your boy moved and relocated to try to get some career advancement. So it was just too much for me to be active on the HOA board. I was like, I just can't do it. So I just gave it up. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let somebody else handle it. Well, a few things happened. Because I was renting my property out, I found out about it the hard way. I want to say it was a leak in the roof, and because it was a leak in the roof, the HOA was responsible for the exterior, but it took forever to get them to fix it. I can't have a tenant in there with water leaking on their head, so I just paid out of pocket to fix it. Lo and behold, what was happening? The money was just, first of all, there wasn't enough money in the coffers to actually fix stuff. They hadn't raised the HOA fee in, like, I don't know. Since I bought it, I think the HOA fee per month was the same. So they've never raised it. So it didn't keep up with inflation. So they didn't have enough money to do all of the essential repairs. At some point in time, new people got on the board. They were giving out contracts to their friends who were doing shitty jobs on the repairs, or they would repair it and prioritize like their property and their friend's property. It became a real shit show. And so, fortunately, the repairs wasn't really too much, so it really wasn't that big of a deal. But it was something that I shouldn't have to done or shouldn't have to do. So I was like, you know what? I'm getting the hell out of here while it was at the top of the market. So I ended up selling, making a great profit, getting the hell out of there. But that HOA was a pain in the ass. I'm talking about every day. It was emails going back and forth, people bitching and complaining. It was just frustrating, and I was like, it was kind of disappointing too, because it was like all black people. It was like all black people in the HOA acting a damn fool. I mean, like it was just real petty to the point when I sold that place, I was so happy to reply, like, yo, please take me off this email list. Cause y'all crazy as hell. Take me off this email list. Don't ever email me again. And it really went crazy when like it was like an all black HOA, then like one random white guy moved into the neighborhood and he got on HOA, and then he was the one who was making the repairs, and it was like a shady contractor. It was just a complete and utter mess. So when I saw this video resonated with me. Now this HOA I had was what was their name? Chatfield Court, whatever it was. They were terrible as hell. It was the saddest shit that I've ever seen as an HOA and as a group of adults who couldn't just figure it out. And nobody wanted to pay the assessment. It was weird. Everybody was like, no, we don't want to raise the HOA fees. Then 2 decades later, when they don't have enough money for repairs, they're like, yo, it's a one-time assessment of $1,500. Everybody was bitching about it and was complaining. It was an utter mess. So this story took me back to there, and it kind of reiterated why I'm not a fan of HOA. So we're gonna talk about this a little bit. There's a little bit of story on the back on the back end of the game that I fill y'all in on later. But let's go ahead and jump into this story because this HOA might be the absolute worst. Let's check it out.
Tonight at 6, poorly run HOA boards not just making life miserable for residents, but harder to find affordable housing.
In a story you'll only see on 11 Alive, investigator Rebecca Lindstrom spent some time in Peyton Place. It's an Atlanta neighborhood that has an HOA, but conditions are so bad even Section 8 won't allow its tenants to live there.
Neighbors.
It already started out with some tomfoolery, but you know how you know how terrible a place have to be if Section 8 was like, nah, fam, like we ain't doing. And I'm not saying most Section 8 housing is terrible, but they give a little bit of leeway. It may not be as stringent. It's not gonna be some upper crust neighborhood, but Section 8 was like, hell nah. It's crazy that Section 8 was like, we not even gonna let our folks live here because y'all whack.
Even Section 8 won't allow its tenants to live there.
Neighbors sometimes squabble.
Do not touch me.
But in this case, the homeowner, Michael Shepard, is upset the HOA president, Claire Cherry, isn't properly collecting HOA dues to fix the damage in their community. That's right. He's upset she's not taking his money.
This is what happened when I mailed the checks. They were returned to sender.
Shepard did pay dues when he first moved in, about $1,500. He has no idea how that money was spent and now says the board only wants cash. Other residents say they haven't even bothered paying.
All right, let's talk about why they want cash real quick because this is important. And this is the second iteration of this story. Is a little bit of background. Initially, the president of the HOA, who some people are referring to as Gangsta Granny, shout out Pink Book Lessons, but initially it was discovered that she was taking the HOA proceeds and was depositing the money in a Wells Fargo bank account that appeared to be a personal bank account, which is illegal as hell. So there was a transition to, okay, we're no longer taking checks, we're only taking cash. Now, it's very limited reasons why people will want to only take cash, especially for an HOA. If you're only taking cash, one is you want an easy transaction, a clean transaction. But two, more importantly, you don't want to have a paper trail of anything. It's probably the reason why you can't go to your local narcotics dealer and give them a cashier's check for some marijuana or some Quaaludes or something. Like, no. The only reason people want cash is because it's no paper trail. So she had the money in her Wells Fargo personal account. It kind of got outed. It was looking crazy. So they switched to a cash only policy.
Money was spent and now says the board only wants cash. Other residents say they haven't even bothered paying.
I purchased in May. I have yet to even understand who I'm supposed to pay HOA dues to.
How many notifications have you received from the board?
None.
Information telling you what's happening in the
Nothing.
community?
Absolutely nothing.
A budget?
Nothing.
After talking with nearly a dozen owners and renters, it seems this community hasn't had a functioning HOA in a long time. And no dues means no repairs.
This is supposed to be secured. This is the access for utilities coming into each of the units.
I mean, these gutters are pointless. Yeah, these would have to go.
We found units with raw sewage coming out of busted pipes. The trash can itself is, well, garbage, and the roof is damaged just about everywhere you look.
All right, real quick, let's talk about this, okay? If you got raw sewage coming out of busted pipes into your home, by law, everything has to be replaced. So let's say you had a plumbing problem and your toilet on the first level floor flooded and the water came up and got everywhere. When you call the insurance company, because it's sewage water, they will pay to replace everything because it's a hazard problem. They'll replace everything, they'll pull everything up, then they'll send a whole decontamination squad out to decontaminate everything that wasn't replaced after they pull the tiles and the flooring up. But generally, anytime it's sewage water and it's an incident with your plumbing in your house, when you call your insurance company, by law, they require, say, yo, we got to pay out to replace the whole thing because it's sewage. It's going to be all sorts of bacteria. But that's wild that that's the case. Now take a look at the inside of this place. All right, I want y'all to take a look at the inside of this place that they about to show. We see the outside is looking kind of crazy, but take a look at the inside. It's
We found
actually
units with raw
kind of
sewage coming
nice.
out of busted pipes. The trash can itself is, well, garbage, and the roof is damaged just
roof is
about
crazy.
everywhere you look. So despite how nice Shepherd's unit looks on the
Look at the inside of
I
his
wanted to
unit.
do this in mass.
Atlanta Housing Authority told him there were too many problems on the outside to allow tenants using its housing choice voucher, formerly called Section 8, to live here. Even though
All right, did y'all see the inside of this dude house? The inside of this dude house is actually not bad. I actually seen this house because I believe he listed it for sale, and we'll take a look. But I actually seen his house and a few other houses that were remodeled that actually didn't look crazy. Now some of them look crazy as hell. Okay, some of them did in fact look crazy as hell, but some of them on the inside actually look fairly decent. But I'm gonna pull them up after the video so y'all can see how much these places are selling for, and more importantly, the places that they're trying to rent out. We can see how much they're charging for rent, and I think the rent that they're trying to get is just wow, in my personal opinion.
So despite how nice Shepherd's unit looks on the inside,
I wanted to do this in mass.
Atlanta Housing Authority told him there were too many problems on the outside to allow tenants using its housing choice voucher, formerly called Section 8, to live here. Even though studies show Metro Atlanta needs nearly 400,000 more
That's
affordable
crazy as
units
hell.
to meet the need.
And I said, okay, I'm going to do what I can to work with the HOA on that. And then I realized rather quickly that they had zero intentions of making any repairs, having any meetings, fixing things up.
No board member lives in these townhomes, but we did find HOA President Claire Cherry picking up trash in the neighborhood.
All right, Claire Cherry, aka the Gangster Granny, is what the internet named her. Now, let's talk about this real quick, all right? That is a big ass red flag, all right? If you buying a place and you can go look up to see who is on the HOA and you can just do an open source search of their name and see where they live at, because that's just kind of how the internet is. But if you're moving into a place, townhomes, condos, and nobody in the neighborhood, like the HOA is comprised of no one who lives in the neighborhood, that's a red flag that you need to get the hell out of Dodge, in my personal opinion. Like, I feel like a HOA has to have balance. Of course, you're gonna have some landlords on there, but the HOA board don't got one person, that one individual who actually lives in that place. They don't give a that's crazy as hell. Like, I think that's a big ass red flag, and it would give me cause to pause if I was thinking about buying a place. But hey, y'all already know if it's an HOA, I'm not fucking with it.
According to property tax records, she owns nearly 30% of the units in Peyton Place, which means with a functioning board, she'd owe about $25,000 each year in dues.
All right, let's think about that because we got to pause that because there's a backstory to that one real quick that we got to talk about. HOA President Claire Cherry is there cleaning up stuff, and she owns 30% of the units there. like they said, if she was required or if she was actually paying her damn HOA dues, she would have to pay $25,000 a year. Meanwhile, she's actually collecting dues from some people and ain't fixing shit, and people have no clue where the money is. And they're like, yo, we only want you to pay us in cash now. But let's talk about that 30%, because that 30% is interesting and there's a little bit of backstory there. Let's go back to the visual so we could go ahead and cue it up on the screen real quick. All right, so the HOA president owns 30% of these units. All right, in a previous story that I saw, there's a theory out there. I have my own theory that I'll talk about at the end. But the theory is that the way she's managing the HOAs, allegedly, the way she's managing the HOAs, not doing the repair, she's trying to depress the value of those places so that she can purchase more of those places for the low, so she can get 60% of the units in that subdivision. If she can get 60% of the units, she is, in fact, the HOA board. But you depress them down, then maybe you can find a developer to come in and revamp them, sell them on the high side of the game. That's the alleged finesse that people are asserting is going on. Allegedly, we're not saying that that's what Claire Cherry is doing, but it looks like word is out that she may be trying to increase her ownership interest in the units to 60% so she can really make some moves. Let's go ahead and dive back in.
Board, she'd owe about $25,000 each year in dues.
I'm Rebecca Lindstrom with 11 Alive. I was trying to reach you.
As we tried in vain to get answers, code enforcement passed out violation notices, demanding homeowners do what the HOA will not.
This little heathen right here. Why is he a heathen? What is he saying that's not true? All the things that he said is not true.
And that brings us back to this moment.
I should have used that as a thumbnail. Two black folks looking crazy. I should have used that as the thumbnail. I think I'm gonna have to crop this out and throw them on the middle of the thumbnail to make the thumbnail get a more of a situation. But I'm gonna tell you, I agree 100%. If the HOA is not doing it and the HOA doesn't have the means to do it, you know what that means? That means you are on the hook for fixing your own stuff. I didn't get, when I had my HOA problem, I sold because I said, what is the point of, I don't know what everybody else's financial situation was, but when my tenant called about something on the exterior that was jacked up, I made sure to get it fixed immediately. I called my property management company. They got their team out there to fix it immediately because that's my tenant. Your boy DFD don't want to be a slumlord. Now, the main reason that I sold it, because I thought, like, yo, what would be the point? Okay, even if I'm able to fix mines up when I want to, what would be the point of owning the best unit in a townhome community where everything else look jacked up? It's gonna look crazy. Like, yo, your unit is squared away. You got new roof on it. Then the one right next to you look like trash. It wouldn't even make sense. So I didn't want to get caught up being the, hey, you got the best townhome unit in a community full of shitty units. I think that's a terrible investment. So I was able to get out from underneath it. I don't even know if the new folks who moved in were aware of the crazy ass HOA situation. But that was one of the reasons I decided to get the hell out of Dodge.
Moment.
Do not touch me. Do not touch me.
A fight that led to police, but no answers on how to move this community forward.
I have found 5 bills in Georgia's legislature targeting HOA issues, but none of the committees assigned have brought them up for discussion. If you
The average.
All right.
Tonight at 6, poorly run HOA.
Let's go ahead and get that about here. Long story short, I actually looked into like filing a lawsuit against the HOA because, I mean, my view was, and there are some statutes out there because it was one statute that allowed you, if your AOA is not using the funds properly, you can take your homeowners association's fees, deposit them into a separate account, separate from your personal account, and withhold those funds until there's some granularity some recourse or maybe an accountant of the funds with the homeowners association. But honestly, no attorney is, unless you file the case yourself and you go to like small claims court to get whatever you lost. No attorney is, it's not even worth it to hire an attorney to go after a HOA, because that money probably already spent. They probably don't even have all the money. Now I wanted to just pull up a few quick videos, a few quick pictures, so we could take a look at what's going on over at Peyton Place. Let me pull it up real quick because I want y'all to see how much they selling these units for. Keep in mind, Section 8 was like, nah, fam, we not gonna allow y'all to do anything up in here. Let me see. All right, so let's take a look at the image number one. We're gonna go ahead and pull image number one up on the screen. Let's go ahead and make that bigger. So these units are selling for $120,000. 2 bedroom, 2 bath, 1,000 square feet. And this is the unit. Outside don't look well. Nah, look at this roof right here. You see that roof on the right hand corner? Yeah, that thing looks pretty dilapidated. This is the inside, which isn't, terrible. I've seen much worse places than this. This is the inside. The inside don't look does not look that bad. Look at this roof right here on the left. Look, their roof looks okay. They look like they may have paid some money out of pocket to fix it. But look at this situation they got over here on the left. That look crazy. Like I said, you don't want to have the best townhouse amongst a bunch of shitty townhouses. It's just going to be no good. Now let's take a look to see what they're charging for rent at these places, because I thought this was wild. But I wanted to give y'all a quick snapshot so we can see. This is another unit, Peyton Place. This is 2 bedrooms, 1.5 bathroom, a little bit more updated, I think, but they charging $1,475 a month. That's crazy as hell. Look at it though; it's kind of modern. Like, yo, we're gonna look at these pictures real quick, but you can tell they actually made an attempt to do some upgrades. Look like that carpet is new. What the hell is going on with that floor? That floor is wow. That floor is wow. They got gray wood on this side and brown wood on the other side. That floor is wow. But they actually took some steps, it looked like, to try to modern it up. But the inside wasn't the problem. The exterior, the sewage leaks, the trash. Hey, they just weren't having it. Section 8 was like, nah, fam, not on my watch. So y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Are y'all big fans of homeowners association? Me, I prefer to get a place that doesn't have one. I actually looked at one point, I looked at buying a condo to turn into a rental, and it was crazy cheap. It was like $120 for $120. It was like $120,000 for a 1 bedroom condo. And I was like, man, that's not bad at all. But I immediately was turned off because the HOA fee was $700. Like, even if you pay it off, being that cheap with an HOA fee being $700, you won't even be able to really recoup any real good money in rents. I mean, you'll make some money in rents, but I just choose to stay away from it. I don't want any HOAs. It's too much rules. It's too much regulation, and it's too much responsibility and burden on the board to do the right thing with the money. Because most times they aren't going to do the right thing with the money. Y'all let me know what y'all think. HOA fans and that. As always, if you enjoyed this video, check out the video on the screen. There's going to be more content related to finance and attorney reactions. Peace.